Dr. Cortex Journal for Advanced Intelligence Warfare, Weapons and Control Technologies and Systems. Episode 1, Psychotronic and Mind Control Tech.
Welcome to the first episode dedicated to the study of advanced weapon systems. Today focusing on psychotronic and mind control weapons. Please note, the sources cited are not exhaustive and reflect only a small portion of the publicly available information, which itself is only a small portion of the total amount of information not available to the public. More information on consciousness and the influence of energy fields such as EMFs will be detailed in future episodes.
Psychotronic weapons, used in unconventional warfare, produce a radioelectric or electromagnetic field designed to destroy electronic equipment or alter the behavior and state of consciousness of people or animals. In the Soviet bloc, psychotronics was a variant of parapsychology, so named by its founders Zdeněk Radák in the late 1960s, to avoid the negative connotations associated with the name parapsychology. In 1973, the first international conference on psychotronics defined psychotronics as an interdisciplinary field studying both the interactions between living organisms and their internal and external environments, and the energetic processes behind these interactions. Psychotronics examined phenomena such as suggestion, telepathy, psychokinesis, and clairvoyance, called telegnosis, which it considered to be established, and profiled them with an emphasis on their scientific explanation. Thus, terms such as morphogenetic field, quantum hologram, spirit of nature, spirit of God, and divine matrix appear in this field, initiated by multiple renowned scientists such as Dr. Rupert Sheldrake, Dr. Ed Mitchell, and Stephen Hawkins. Psychotronic studies are conducted mainly in the field of quantum physics, most often by researchers interested in the unification of science and an attempt at a quantum description of consciousness. The most spectacular research in this field is Masaru Emoto's experiments on the impact of music and human emotions on the structure of water crystals, and a series of experiments on the impact of human emotions on DNA, first conducted by Vladimir Poponin in 1992 to 1995 by Glenn Rain and Roland McCready of the HeartMath Institute, proving the non-locality in the quantum sense of this phenomenon. From the late 1960s to the early 1990s, psychotronics in communist Czechoslovakia was officially considered a scientific discipline, and research was conducted at several state universities in cooperation with other brother countries. Leading communist specialists migrated to the United States as part of a mass recruitment of former Soviet scientists by the CIA, NSA, and NASA. Hubert Larcher states, on March 18, 1967, a coordination group for psychotronic research was formed in Prague under the chairmanship of Professor Jaroslav Stuchlik, a collaborator of Carl Jung. In 1970, this group became the Psychotronic Research Section of the Czechoslovak Scientific and Technical Society, with significant international participation. A first Congress for Psychotronic Research was held, at the end of which an International Association for Psychotronic Research was formed. Communist psychotronics postulated and then demonstrated the possibility of remote mental interaction between two biological bodies through the emission of targeted frequencies. One of the avenues for understanding the mechanism of remote mind control is the electromagnetic hypothesis of Manzarsky and Kogan and the non-electromagnetic hypothesis of Vasiliev. Based on his experimental work, Manzarsky concluded that the sources of emissions that can influence the thoughts of a target at a distance come from the electrical currents that pass through the human brain during the thought process. Kogan argued that the equations he provided in his study imply that, in principle, it is possible to transmit mental information via the electromagnetic field induced by biological currents over any distance.
In the United States, the CIA also explored secret programs such as Project MKUltra, where they conducted and produced mind control experiments, protocols, and infrastructure. Gateway Project, where they discovered that consciousness functions like a holographic radio, connecting and generating EM frequencies, and the Stargate Project, where the government explored and used techniques of astral projection and remote viewing.
However, psychotronic weapons are still in use today. Secret services and governments use these technologies in military warfare, information warfare, and population control. Multiple government reports and sources confirmed the existence of these weapons. In April 2024, the International Journal for Research in Applied Science and Engineering Technology confirmed the circulation of deep tech wireless synthetic telepathic technology, remote neural monitoring, mind controller, voice to skull, V2K technologies, neurotechnology, and wireless direct energy weapon, psychotronic cybercrime techniques. The BBC confirmed an increase in the number of patents related to reading brain frequencies. In 2019, the CIA authorized the release of information to a private agent concerning psychotronic weapons and their use in secret programs. The Naval Air Systems Command confirmed that EMFs transmit vibrational energy in quantum fields between physical entities, indicating that matter is energy confined in energy fields. Over the years, multiple whistleblowers and survivors of secret programs such as MKUltra have warned about the use of these technologies in a military context and for mass surveillance on a daily basis. This is particularly relevant in relation to Wi-Fi and 5G antennas. This has been corroborated by leaks from Edward Snowden and Room 641A, and more recently by contracts with Palantir Technologies, highlighting government activities and their interest in controlling the population. Modern public technologies use a wide range of equipment and techniques to implement these tools on a daily basis. Multiple patents, studies, and technological and governmental projects confirm their existence and applications. Use of Wi-Fi signals to directly affect the conscious state and nervous system,
or spy on the population.
Use of screens to manipulate a person's nervous system. V2K or voice-to-skull technologies injecting voices and audio clips directly into the individual's head. Microwave radar for tracking individuals. EMF poisoning. Modification and induction of consciousness through music files. Use of implants and brain-computer interfaces for mind control. Or remote neural control, direct remote neural control, without implants, for example, via satellite or magnetic fields. Dream communication and monitoring. Psychological and psychic torture. Nanobots and EMF induction by heavy metals, medical vaccines, and food. Nanorobots lodge themselves in people who have eaten food or been vaccinated, and the robots react to external electromagnetic induction. This means that people with access to the remote control can control, move, accumulate, or contract the robots inside the target's body, which can kill the target if desired, for example, by crossing the blood-brain barrier. Nanorobots are actively promoted by organizations such as the European Union, the World Health Organization, and the World Economic Forum. This technology literally allows a government to kill, or perhaps even remotely control an individual on command from within their own body. Internet of Bodies projects to merge humanity's collective consciousness into a central brain. Mind upload and transfer projects. Psychotronic weapons were recently used by Donald Trump during the capture of Venezuela using a pulsed energy weapon. He quotes, "I pressed a button and no weapons worked. The soldiers were bleeding from their noses and vomiting blood. Suddenly all radar systems stopped working. That is the end of this first lesson. Let me explain what the next episodes will cover in this chapter. In the next episodes, we will look at the following technologies: soul manipulation systems, space-time manipulation, geoclimatic control and warfare systems, directed energy weapons for destruction, portal traveling technologies, plasma guns and weapon systems, hyperspacecrafts, and gravitational manipulation weapons.